So don't go anywhere, as today's deck comes courtesy of what I think was the strongest deck I played with in the Bloomburrow Early Access. This is surely going to be a huge part of the future meta. Hey everyone, Hex here, and firstly I want to once again give a big thanks to Wizards for early access to Bloomburrow on Arena. This set is so cool. Firstly though, if you'd all be so kind as to drop a like on the video and subscribe below to not miss out on other brews from Bloomburrow and beyond. But onto this deck, and are you ready for triggers? Because today I'm playing bats, and this deck was the strongest deck that I played with today. Let's go straight in on my 3 favourite cards from this deck. So our plan today is incremental life gain and incremental life loss on our turns to help push our synergies. Firstly, I've got Essence Channeler, move over Voice of the Blessed because there is a new cleric in town. This one is a 2/1 Bat Cleric for 2 that has flying and vigilance if you've lost life this turn, and gains a +1/+1 counter when you gain life. This card gets seriously out of control extremely quickly, as does Zoraline. For 3 mana, this 3/3 Flying Vigilant Bat says whenever a bat you control attacks, you gain a life. This triggers your Channeler before damage, so they pair very well, and this card doesn't even need to attack to trigger its ability. Also, when it enters or attacks, you get to pay 2 mana if you wish to return a creature of mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. So there's lots of text on this card, but it's all relevant, as is Lunar Convocation. It is a 2 mana enchantment that says at the beginning of your end step, if you've gained life this turn, each opponent loses a life, and if you've gained and lost life this turn, you make a 1/1 bat. It's pretty sweet when Zoraline is around, but wait, there's more. For 2 mana, you get to pay 2 life to draw a card. This is a sneaky way to force some life loss on your turn. Other new cards today include Starscape Cleric. I'm low-key impressed with this one today. It is a 2 mana bat that can't block, but it drains your opponent for 1 when you gain life. So there is a lot of damage when your engines are rolling. I'm also playing Darkstar Augur. It's another bat, but this one says at the beginning of your upkeep, you reveal the top card of your library and you put it in your hand. You lose life equal to its mana value. In this deck, there isn't too much of a downside to the life loss we are incurring. Some older creatures today include the Ruin-Lurker Bat, Deep-Cavern Bat, and Amalia. All relevant, all super strong. I've got Caves of the Uneaten Feast, which does a great job in keeping the incremental life gain rolling, and Gix can help refill your hands with our flying critters. I've got some removal and cut down, Bitter Triumph to lose life, Virtue to gain back that life, 22 lands, and that's the deck. To say I'm impressed with bats are a massive understatement. The incremental life gain means you can keep up with your opponent's attacks whilst fueling your synergies, and we generally win with flyers. And we all know that flying creatures are OP. So let me know what changes you might make, and if you have any decks or combos, the jankier the better, that you're excited for in Bloomburrow. Again, a big shout out to Wizards for early access, and check out my Patreon if you wish to support the channel even further, as these credit level patrons have done so. But in the meantime, sit back, grab a cup of tea, and see how I got on today with these pesky bats. Alright then, on the play with our bat deck, and this hand looks pretty nice actually. Very mono white centric here, but trust me, we have black cards in the deck. We have a nice little curve here, the bat into, or sorry, I'd probably go the case actually into a channeler here. We also have Caves of Koilos, which is important to ping us for a damage to give our channeler flying at some point. Opponent with Cavern and naming lizards with the Vine Lasher. Okay, Vine Lasher, very good card I've seen today. Especially in the lands deck, the Reanimator lands deck, Sultai decks. Opponent pings us there of Landfall and Gev, so it looks like we're playing up against lizards. So I'm glad it's not a land deck, but Caves of Koilos here enables us to cast our black spells here, but we can ping ourselves first. Gives the channeler flying. I think the best thing to do though is get the bat down first. This is going to gain us a life. Put another counter on the channeler. Then we can Virtue this, I guess, Gev. Doesn't matter about the ward 2 life, we're gaining 3 back here. Another counter on the channeler. It gets flying because of the caves trigger, and yeah, opponent down to 15. We might even be able to win next turn. Well, I don't know about that, but we're going to be very close to winning next turn. Fireglass Mentor, okay. So yeah, very lizard synergistic deck for our opponent here. We find a Deep-Cavern Bat, but I think the best thing here is Zoraline. This is going to gain a life and ping us when it enters the battlefield. So that jumps the Channeler, puts another counter on it from case, attack the opponent, trigger, 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 trigger. Opponent down to 6, another counter on it. We have a 9-8, and we just need to tap our caves next turn unless they kill this Channeler, and that is GG's. Alright then, on the draw. A pretty nice curve for us. We do have the Restless Fortress, but we do have Caves of Koilos, and suddenly a really powerful card in this deck. His opponent plays a Gruul land there. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this set so far today. So many different strategies going up there. Looks like we're up against maybe a Raccoon deck. Not sure. I guess that's just like big spells. Let's go for Lunar Convocation here. This is one of my first games, so forgive me if this isn't the most optimal plays all being made. But Keen-Eyed Curator, okay. I'm going to make sure I drop these cards all up onto the screen for you guys. Bramble Familiar is a Raccoon. It's an older Raccoon. And we find a Starscape Cleric. Let's go for case. And yeah, we want to tap a black mana from Caves here to play our Bat. Gain a life from the case. Have a little look up into the opponent's hand. So they've got a decent amount of mana here. Got this Veteran, Bramble Familiar, and take out the trash. 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If you control a Raccoon, you get to loot. Alright, let's just get rid of that. I don't really feel like losing my Bat quickly, but if we can find a Zoraline, we should be good. We can start pinging our opponents left, right, and centre with our little bats. Bramble Guard Veteran enters the battlefield. We can chump all day as well if we keep making bats. Not sure how many of their creatures gain trample. They do manage to play 4 mana this turn. And yeah, I think I will just soak up some damage here with our bat. That is another Lunar Convocation. Okay, well, Mudflat Village. Let's go for the... We'll go for the Convocation. Make sure we ping ourselves so we have a damage marked on us. We'll go for the Channeler here. This gains a life, so it becomes a 3-2. Attack with the Bat, because we're not going to block with it. Another life gain trigger onto the Channeler. Make some bats, more life gain triggers. I mean, our deck is starting to pop off a little bit here. Yeah, we just need our Zoraline here, and this GG's for our opponent. We can just keep up with these massive Raccoons that they've got. They can always return one of these Bramble Familiars to their hand. That might be the play that they want to do. I just played a game against an opponent, and the game must have gone on for about 35 minutes. It was bats versus bats. Amalia even managed to trigger, so yeah, I'm probably not going to show that one on this video as it would take up pretty much the entire video. But bats versus bats is pretty strong. Opponent with a Gold Vein Hydra here for 5. Well, as a 5/5. It has trample, so I don't really care too much about that. We can just chump the 6/6. We're set up so we can make 2 bats a turn now. Another Deep-Cavern Bat for us, but they have no cards in their hand. Yeah, I mean, we can just keep double spelling, can't we? We have the Deep-Cavern Bat and the Cleric. In fact, Starscape Cleric could be lethal here. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses a life. So we're going to be draining the opponent each time we gain a life. We're going to gain some through our attacks. End step as well. We can get in there with our bats. Opponent down to 5, gain a life, and then this should be lethal. There are so many triggers here. Yeah, opponent dies. So that's how these games end. Alright then, on the play here. Yeah, pretty nice hand here. This is one of my first games with this Bat deck. I'm super excited to play it up against Legend VD as well, so I'm expecting a difficult game here. But we'll see how we get on here. Our hand is nice though, we've got Bat into Bat. So let's play this Ruin-Lurker Bat, 1-1 with lifelink. Valley Might Cooler, okay, that is a frog, which grows when other little green critters enters the battlefield on their side of the board. So we're up against the creature-based deck, probably looking to go wide. Luckily, we can try and force our channeler to gain flying and vigilance with the caves in our hand. Mentor for our opponent, and they get in there with their 2-2. Okay, so it looks like we're up against rabbits. I'll link my rabbit deck up into the corner here. I love the rabbit deck. I think it's so much fun to play with. Each card is so powerful, but we are going to have to use our removal spell here, I think, just to make sure that we take out these creatures whilst we can. I'm going to go for the Might Cooler. They're pretty much both as bad as each other. They both got trample. But we can attack the opponent here down to 14, gain a life, channel it up to a 5-4 now. So we're just going to race as much as we possibly can. It would be nice if we could find our case, start gaining some life. Hop to it for our opponent, okay, makes the Mentor a 4-4. We find a Bitter Triumph. Still no 4th mana, which is annoying. I'd like to be able to double spell here. We've got to be a little bit careful if they play like a Warren War Leader or something like that. So I'm going to use my Bitter Triumph here, and we'll take care of this Mentor. We pay 3 life so that our channel grows. And opponent down to 8, channel at a 6-5. I tapped the caves, didn't I, there? I didn't need to do that, as the Bitter Triumph is in the deck because it makes us lose 3 life. Valley Quest Caller, that is a Lord effect. Second Quest Caller for our opponent. These are 3/3s. Okay. What are they going to do here? They're going to attack. They're going to have to... Well, I mean, we're just going to fly over whatever they do. So, yeah, I mean, we have 8 damage next, 7 damage next turn on board. We'll eat one of the rabbits. And that's Zoraline. Yeah, we'll just play Zoraline, I guess. Make sure we tap our caves. Ping ourselves. Jump the channeler. GG's. Opponent GG'd us. This should... Oh, hang on. I didn't attack with the Ruin-Lurker Bat. Wow, I missed lethal there. Should have attacked with the Ruin-Lurker Bat. Slight misplay. Please forgive me. These are new cards. Warren War Leader for our opponent. I guess we might have had lethal with that Starscape Cleric as well. Oh, I hope we don't die here. Yeah, I think we can survive this. The War Leader is the card I was worried about. It gives the whole team +1/+1. I'm just going to block everywhere, and we can just hit them back in the air. I mean, yeah, that last turn was pretty bad. We could have played the Starscape Cleric and should have just attacked with both bats, but we've still got the lethal damage here. We learn, we move on. That's how this deck does actually work. So yeah, that's pretty strong there. Alright then, on the draw here, and yeah, I mean, it's an okay hand with a turn 1 Fortress here, getting that out of the way. Opponent with a Leyline of the Gilpack on turn 0. Who knows what we're up against? Lots of brewing going on today. Deep-Cavern Bat, okay. Have a little look what is going on. Alright, Season of the Burrow, Invasion, and Season of Gathering. If I remember, I'll put these cards up on the screen. Let's just take the card that they're most likely to play first, which is the Invasion there. Their hand's pretty expensive. We could do some serious work before they get a chance to actually play a spell. We'll play this Starscape Cleric. Whenever you gain life, opponent loses a life. A couple of triggers this turn because the case triggers before the bat attacks, so... Yeah, opponent is kind of stuck on what to do. We have another bat to take care of that 5 mana spell in their hand. I mean, if we don't win this game, I'm going to eat my hat. We've got 4 bats on the battlefield. Next turn, Zoraline here is going to trigger. Yeah, there's just a land, so we'll just take this Seasoner Boat. They're going to have to draw something pretty sweet now. It's hard to keep track with all the points of damage, but 1, 2... We could potentially kill them next turn. I think we're going to with the Cleric and Zoraline on the battlefield. Yeah, so this is going to gain us a life when it enters the battlefield. Even if they put a creature down, we can. The Channeler's going to get flying, and then all these bats attacking is going to trigger Zoraline, which is then going to trigger our Cleric. And yeah, opponent surely is going to die now. We can, I guess, play our Ruin-Lurker Bat first for an extra trigger, in case they've got anything hidden in their hand. And this has been a pretty devastating game here. This is showing how powerful bats can be, albeit the opponent didn't manage to play a spell. Even if they had played a creature, I'm not sure if they necessarily would have been able to take to win this. And yeah, opponent down to -10. Nice. Okay, then on the draw here, Bat deck, and our hand is very 2-drop centric, 2-mana centric, so see how this one gets on. It is a free booter, for our opponent. Okay. No idea what that means in the meta that I'm seeing today. It's an Abzan deck for them. Sure. Well, we find our 3rd mana, which is nice. We have a whole array of spells we can cast now. I think I want to probably play the Bat. Have a little look in their hand. When I say the Bat, I mean the Deep-Cavern Bat. It's been the only Bat for a while. Couple of Rottenmouth Vipers and 2 Annihilating Glares. Okay, so we're going to lose our Bat whatever, aren't we? We might as well just force them into the removal spell if they have it. Yeah, they go to attack, so I'm not going to block. I mean, they don't need to use this Annihilating Glare. Okay, they've gone to do it. I guess it gets them a chance to scry, create a treasure. And I'll put the Viper up on the screen now. It is a pretty dangerous card to be up against. We're on 18. We might be able to stabilize a little bit, but we're not going to be able to keep up with the Snake's blight counters. We have Zoraline here, but I think we'll need to go for a one of our other bats right now. Let's go for the Channeler. It can block if it need be. Yeah, they just passed the turn, sure. Another land. It's going to be a tap land. Drawn 3 of our courtyards here. Alright, well, we can kind of guess what they're up to. So let's double spell. Then next turn we can hit them with Zoraline. And they've got a good 6 mana here. Rottenmouth Viper. Okay, so we need to sack a non-land permanent or discard a card or lose 4 life. Let's just lose 4 life. Let's go for Zoraline here. Play our land. Yeah, maybe that wasn't the best. I think what we should have done there is Bitter Triumphed this snake, take 3 damage. That would have jumped the, well, that would have allowed us to attack for a load more damage there. Annihilating Glare on Zoraline, yeah. They're getting in us. Now we need to lose 8 life, or discard, or sack some whatnot. Let's get rid of Virtue. Lose 4 life. No blocks. Down to 5. I mean, this is so dangerous. Yeah, these snakes are annoying. I think we will just take care of this snake here, though. And we can get rid of this bat. Yeah, we've missed, I think, 6 damage. Oh, well. Yeah, the other Viper comes down. I'm going to just lose 4 life now. See what we draw. Huh, Mudflat Village. It's a new card. Has that one just saved us a little bit here? We can return a bat to our hand. Well, yes, please. Let's go for Zoraline. We have just enough mana to play that. We can't ping ourselves, but Zoraline should be enough with all the triggers to... Well, I mean, there are so many triggers here. Yeah, I mean, definitely we get 8 damage through here. That was maybe a little bit lucky at the end. Zoraline is so powerful, but what a top deck with that land there against the Snake deck.